Hello and welcome back to Split Our Farm. Today we're going to take our time and enjoy this nice weather by doing a survival camping cooking technique called the Swedish torch. And what that's going to do is going to be a cooking surface that is both a fire and a cooking surface, so we could heat up our dinner. So what you're going to need for this, ideally under the right circumstances, is going to be some cast iron pots so you can cook your meals in, some oil or something to use for the food, obviously to give it a little flavor and to make it so it doesn't stick to the pan. And then you're going to need a axe or a chainsaw or something that you're going to be able to get inside one of these aged pieces of wood. When you're finding a piece of wood that you're going to be using for the Swedish torch, you want to make sure it's not fresh wood, because otherwise it's going to be crazy smoky, and it's also going to be a lot more difficult to burn. This older, more aged wood, just like you'd put in your fireplace, is going to have a better burning temperature and overall perform better than you would expect a newer log to do. What we're going to be cooking today is some salmon, some asparagus, and sweet potato gnocchi. For step one, you probably want some glasses, but what you're going to do is chop your log into 4 pieces. Nice X between the center, and then we'll go from there. So now we have it split into 4 quarters. What you're going to do is this tight edge here, we're going to shave off a little bit of that all the way down on each end, and then we're going to combine. So let's start with the first step, and to do that I'm going to make it easier for me. I'm going to use a little mallet. Realistically, you can use a log or basically anything that has a little bit of oomph behind it, but because I'm home and don't have to, I'm going to use that. Alright, so now we have it quartered. We have a little piece of the inside pizza cut off, so it's going to give it room for air to breathe. And then the last step is going to be putting it back together. And what I like to have in my first aid kit, which you should always have a first aid kit if you're going camping or doing anything that revolves around being on your own, you want to be safe. So one of the extra things that I keep is just a thing of wire. So it's just 24 gauge wire, and it's going to be in a survival situation. You can use it for lots of stuff, but in this situation, I'm going to use it to coil back my piece of wood together. So let's get to it. Alright, so now we wrapped it with the wire. That essentially is just going to keep it together so that when it's burning from the inside, it's not falling over, and gives us a level top so we can cook on that. So next up, we're going to grab some different dry things around the yard or in the woods or wherever you are. And I have some old grass, some little twigs and kindling of all sorts. And we're going to put that down into the center with the smallest bits on the bottom. And then we're going to move slightly larger bits on top. So now I'm just going to put it on its side and light those little bits that were on the bottom, and then wait for it to light. Alright, so hopefully the kindling's blasting, and we're going to be waiting for it to die down. The fire's going to start to continue in the front area, but once all the additional like hay and like dried grass, hay, and everything that is the kindling is burned down, this fire will settle a little bit, and we can then start our actual cooking. So you'll see if you look at the bottoms, the bottom doesn't really have that much smoke or anything coming out of it, and that's because the fire is being fueled from underneath with the air going in on the sides, and then all of that empty space in the center allows for the heat to really go. So it looks like a torch. That's why it's a Swedish torch, and we're gonna have some great meal from it. So the Swedish torch is cooking. It looks like a rocket, and I have a little bit of extra kindling and some dry wood, so I'm gonna feed that in there, and then we're gonna get to cooking. So let's go with the smaller pieces. That is hot. It's definitely heated up and it's ready to go. I'm gonna grab the cast iron dishes and we'll start cooking. I think it turned out pretty good. I hope you enjoyed, and try this at home yourself. But be safe about it and make sure that you put your fire out afterwards. We have a hose over here that we're going to turn that out before we head in.